Jason here with DoctorPremed.com. Welcome to the website. I want to talk a little bit about those who are starting school. I know it's August and school is just starting up for everybody. I want to give you some tips and advice for preparing to make a successful transition to college, or if you're already in college, what you need to be doing to make sure that you're going to stand out and have a great academic year. And so obviously you're here because you want to get into medical school. You're a pre-med student, and the most important thing that you need to do while you're in school is to make sure that you're doing well academically. So focus on your academics. That needs to be priority number one, to make sure that you have good grades, maintain your GPA. I'll actually share some advice to you that I received from a professor, mentor mine, physician, when I was going to school. He said, remember, protect your GPA at all costs. So no matter what you do, you want to focus on your academics and you want to make sure you have a strong GPA. That means going to class. Yes, you actually need to go to class, doing assigned work, doing the reading. I know as a pre-med, there's going to be a lot of problem sets, making sure you're staying on top of that. And as soon as you run into any difficulty or you're having trouble with anything, you need to speak to the teaching assistant, professor, or work with your classmates who have a solid understanding of that material. You want to definitely take that seriously and make sure that you really learn the material and know it cold. I'm going to actually share a quick story about that. When I was in grad school, I was taking the biostats class, and so with that class, there was a lot of group work that was involved in that course. And so we had like a final project that we needed to do. And then we also had a final exam that we needed to take. And so the final project was due the week of the final exam. And so what would be customarily, we would meet as a group. We would divvy up the work. Somebody's going to work on this. Somebody else is going to work on that. But for some reason, our group decided, okay, let's really work together and make sure everybody knows what's going on and has an understanding of all types of the group project. And unbeknownst to us, we then took our exam a few days later, and the exam was based on the group project. And I was so thankful that I learned all the parts for that group project, knew how to do all the equations, knew where they were derived from, and the understanding behind that, because that came to be a big factor for the test itself. And so if I had done that work on my own, I wouldn't have done what, if I just did my part of the exam, I wouldn't have done well on the overall test. So it's very important to do that. So that's just one tidbit of advice for you in that regard. And then another thing as a pre-med student is extracurricular activities while you're in college and everything like that. You want to make sure that you get involved in activities, and you want to make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin. Although when you do apply to medical school, you're going to have the chance to write down 15 different activities on your application. This could be volunteering, this could be shadowing, this could be research, this could be scientific papers that you do. And so you're going to have a lot of leeway with that, even work experiences as well. So you can definitely go ahead and do that. But the important thing to do is when you're doing these experiences, and make sure you have depth of experience. You want to move up the chain and become a leader. You want to be a vice president, a president, a secretary, or just showing that you took more initiative than just being a general member of a group. This is really going to help you out when you apply to medical schools, because they're looking for students who have that background and show that they take initiative, because as a future doctor, that's one of the things that's going to happen. You're going to be the leader of the team. You're going to be the person that everybody looks to for advice and assistance with everything. And that's even happened to me as a medical student, a third-year medical student. I've been on rotations where my attendings working with another patient, I'm going down to see a patient, and what happens is the nurses and some of the staff, they consider you a doctor for all intents and purposes. They obviously know that you're not, but you're trained to be a doctor, and they'll look at me and say, okay, so student Dr. Spears, what do you want to do for this patient? And so that can be a little nerve-wracking, but that's what's going to happen to you as you pursue more and more medicine. So you need to be aware of those experiences and know that's what's going to take place. Also, one thing that a lot of students have trouble doing, and something that you need to get comfortable doing, is making connections with your professors. Your professors are going to be writing letters of recommendation for you and helping you with everything that you need in regards to getting into medical school. So those recommendations are going to be extremely important, and you can't be shy about approaching a professor if you think that they can write you a letter of recommendation, or it's a course where you would really like to have a letter of recommendation from. So go ahead, be proactive, introduce yourself to the professor. You don't even have to say anything that you want a letter of recommendation down the road, but you want to just start that chain of communication so the professor knows you, understands who you are, because a lot of times students will wait until their junior, senior year when they're preparing to apply to medical school. And what happens, unfortunately, is the professor works with over hundreds of students each year, and to them, then you're only just a letter and a number in their grade book or whatever Excel software they have. They don't have anything of substantive nature to say about you in your letter recommendation, and that could really hurt your chances if you're having a bland letter recommendation from a professor. That's not going to help your cause. You need somebody who knows you well, who can vouch for you, can make a strong case of why you're going to be a great addition to a medical school and why you're going to be a great doctor. So you need to work on developing that relationship early on in the process. Make sure you attend office hours. If you have questions, speak to the professor after class or before class, whenever they handle the questions. Introduce yourself, make yourself known. And these are just some of the things that you can do to get yourself ready as you start out of pre-med and start a new year of college. So make sure you're doing all of this. Again, this is Jason with DoctorPremed.com. Look forward to hearing more from you, and good luck to you on everything.